back to Doctor's Homestead. My name's Daniel. It's another episode of Prepper Pantry Pick of the Week. We've been doing this a long time, guys. We take you shopping with us every week. We pick out an item and talk about where it fits into your long-term food storage pantry, if it fits in your long-term food storage pantry. Talk about calories, cost for calories, nutritional information. We're going to give you some tips. We're talking about shelf life, and I'm going to give you some comps. So we're going to roll all that in. Thanks for sticking through the intro, right? I hope you guys enjoy that. I know some people just like to watch the shopping, and some people want to jump ahead to this part of the video. So it's kind of two parts, two videos rolled into one, and I don't mind. So we've been doing it for a while. So in that, I'm going to throw some numbers out. We're going to use 2,000 calories in this video. I just kind of jump between 1,500 and 2,000 calories when you're talking about your long-term food storage pantry. When you're talking about a 5-pound bag of flour, if you have a 5-pound bag of flour sitting in your pantry on the shelf, how much food is this? Like, how long can you live on this bag of flour? Zombie apocalypse, post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear war, all you got is your bag of flour. You're in the bunker. How long is that? Like, how much food? How many days of food is this? How long can you live on the bag of flour? So we're going to actually talk about that. So we're using 2,000 calories this time. That's sort of considered the average daily. If you look at percentages, you've seen nutritional information before. That's all based on 2,000 calorie diet. Your diet's going to depend on you, right? I can't tell you how many calories you need to eat. Sometimes we use 1,500 calories, and that's to keep you above the starvation level, right? So let's talk about flour. It's a pretty basic ingredient, right? People have been living on wheat for a very long time. The Roman army lived on wheat. They would actually feed the soldiers bushels of wheat. So it's been around a while, right? It's absolutely a staple, and in a lot of ways it's low cost, right? The white lily, maybe not the cheapest option, but we'll talk about some of the price options. So 5-pound bag of bread flour was $4.44 at Walmart. This is a 5-pound bag, has 76 servings, 100 calories per serving, so a total of 7,600 calories in the 5-pound bag. So at 2,000 calories a day, 5 pounds of flour will feed you for 3.8 days. So this is almost 4 days worth of food. You could probably squeeze it to 4 pretty easily. 4 days worth of food, 5-pound bag of flour, 7,600 calories right there. So not a bad deal. Works out to $1.16 per day for 2,000 calorie day, 20 servings of flour, $1.16 per day. So if you just went with the store brand, generic, all-purpose flour, it cuts that about in half. So we're saying $1.16. That's going to get you down to more 50-60 cents per day. Janet does a lot of baking, makes a lot of bread. We're going to splurge and get the good bread flour, $4 a bag. So that's kind of the high level, right? So this is 4 days worth of food for $4. Not a bad deal. Hard to beat. When we first started doing these Prepper Pantry videos, we were going as cheap as possible, and stuff like flour, sugar is actually about as cheap as you get, or affordable in terms of cost per calorie. And then you start looking at things like rice and beans, but they are your staples, and they're your staples for a reason. A lot of stuff is made out of flour. So if you ate 20 servings of flour, that's 2,000 calories, you'd be getting 440 grams of carbohydrates, which is considered 160% of the daily recommended. So it's more carbs than our government recommends you eat in a day. And it has 80 grams of protein with no recommended. A lot of the foods don't have recommended amounts of protein. I don't quite understand why. From the numbers we've seen, we use is usually between 50 and say 150, 50 and 200 grams you want to consume protein per day. This is 80. So it's more than zero, right? It's more than the minimum amount. So if all you ate was the bread flour, you're actually getting carbs and protein. It also is enriched, so you have stuff like iron, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, folate, all those great things you didn't know you needed. So it is made from wheat. Wheat is wheat, it's white flour. So if you're allergic to wheat, if you're gluten intolerant, this is wheat, don't eat wheat. So I want to throw that out there, don't sue me. So in terms of shelf life, there's a lot of information on shelf life of flour. If you look at Healthline, it says 3 to 8 months. If you look at Perfect Loaf, it says 9 to 15 months. Southern Living says 1 year. If you put it in the fridge for a year, if you put it in the freezer for 2 years, I know we've kept flour for at least a year, right? We actually have flour like this. We put flour in buckets without Mylar bags, just that's our working flour. And then if you put it in a Mylar bag with an oxygen absorber, you're talking more 5 to 10 years if it's stored properly. So you get your flour, you put it in the Mylar bag, put it in the bucket, put it in the oxygen absorber in there, you get 5 to 10 years with the flour. If not, it could probably sit on the shelf for a year, maybe 2, but we'll say a year. Flour can go bad, it can go rancid, it can get a sour smell, and baking it, from what I've read, won't remove that smell. So if you bake bad flour, you're going to end up with funky bread. So something to keep aware of, keep in your mind, right? But you can extend the shelf life with Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. If you've never baked before, there's some great videos out there. I'm not going to bake for you on this video, but I mean, even some basic ingredients, even just water, flour, maybe some butter, something like that. You can make some really basic flatbreads. It does say don't eat raw. So if you were tempted to eat it raw, it says don't eat raw, cook thoroughly. I think I would do that, right? You want to cook it thoroughly. Eggs, I mean, you can make some really basic stuff without a ton of skills, just with flour. So it's very affordable, very carb dense food. And I didn't mention on the bag, it's got 1 year on the bag, which seems to fit with most of the stuff I'm reading. That's actually a little bit more than a year on the bag, so it fits in that 1 year, 2 year. Now, if you are interested in storing flour long term, once again, you can just buy this flour, put it in the Mylar bag, oxygen absorbers, you get 5-10 years. That's a long time. If you want to go longer, there's the wheat berries. Don't buy this wheat berries, but wheat berries, you can get a 25-pound bag of wheat berries, LDS store. We made a video on it, 18 bucks. 18 bucks for 25 pounds. Now, you probably need a grinder. I mean, there are recipes you can make just with wheat berries, but if you want the flour, you need a grinder. Hand crank grinder is a good idea. Electrical grinders are certainly going to be a lot less work. It does take a lot of work to grind flour with a hand crank grinder, but you get that flexibility of not needing the grid. But if you get the wheat berries, LDS store, $18, 25 pounds, those last a really long time, right? So if you want to move from that 5-10 years to maybe 20, 30 years, maybe forever, hard to say, this is an option as well. If you want to stack that flour, once again, 18 bucks, 25-pound bag, really not that bad price-wise. We got that at the LDS store in town. Certainly shop it out, right? I know they're around. Maybe you find a better deal somewhere else, but that's certainly an option, right? I think flour, unless you're gluten allergic, you have celiac, gluten intolerant, something like that, you probably eat flour. It's in a lot of stuff, right? So absolutely, yes, it is a choice. It's a good choice for your short-term food storage pantry like this, your mid-term pantry if you put it in Mylar bags, or even your long-term pantry if you do the wheat berries, get you some flour, learn how to bake at least some basic stuff so you can make your flour edible. So as always, hope that helps out. Thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.